Welcome to Dark Sky Dive, where we explore the cosmos. Today, we analyze the two titans defining our future in space. In this new era, the universe is no longer the sole playground of governments, but a battlefield for private ambition and dreams. Two names consistently dominate the conversation, capturing the world's imagination with their massive rockets and bold promises: Blue Origin and SpaceX. Both companies possess immense financial resources, employ the world's top engineering minds, and share a relentless drive to push humanity outward. Their ultimate goal is identical: to transport humans beyond Earth for the long term, ensuring our species survives among the stars. However, the methods they use to reach that distant future are almost completely different, representing two distinct philosophies of engineering. Let us examine the first major difference: the conflict between raw speed and absolute certainty in their approach to rocket development. The core philosophy driving SpaceX can be summarized in a single, powerful mantra: fly early, fail fast, and learn even faster. SpaceX chooses to launch early, accepting the high probability of explosions and aggressively collecting data from every single catastrophic failure. For them, a rocket exploding is not a disaster. It is a valuable lesson paid for with steel and fuel. In contrast, Blue Origin pursues a more classical mindset, embodied in their motto, Gradatim Ferociter, meaning step by step, ferociously. They prefer to fly late, avoiding public failures at all costs, and concentrating risk during the extensive ground testing phase. For Blue Origin, an explosion in space is not considered data. It is viewed as a systemic failure of their process. One company embraces chaos to find the limits, while the other seeks to calculate every variable before ever lighting the fuse. This leads us to the second point: the stark contrast in engineering culture, resembling a tech startup versus an aerospace firm. Step onto the SpaceX floor and you feel the urgency. Young engineers make rapid decisions, operating with the speed of software developers. They operate like a Silicon Valley startup where speed is valued over perfection, and fixing things after launch is acceptable. Meanwhile, Blue Origin feels like a traditional aerospace giant, characterized by thick checklists, overlapping processes, and independent verification of decisions. A small change here might take months to be approved, not because they are slow, but because they hate unmeasured risk. SpaceX rides the wave of innovation, while Blue Origin builds the dam to control the flow, prioritizing stability above all else. The third critical difference lies in their engines. SpaceX develops propulsion through rapid evolution, constantly upgrading their hardware on the fly. From Merlin to Raptor, they mass produce and test until failure. Every explosion is considered a step forward in their design. Blue Origin takes a different path. Their BE-3 and BE-4 engines undergo exhaustive ground testing for years before ever flying. They do not race for record-breaking specs immediately. Instead, they race for repeatable reliability and absolute safety in every single ignition. If SpaceX asks what they learned from an explosion, Blue Origin asks how to ensure that explosion never happens at all. Both companies are pioneers in rocket reusability, yet their tactical approach to bringing boosters back to Earth differs significantly. SpaceX pushes the limits, landing in difficult conditions and accepting that they may need to repair the booster after flight. Blue Origin limits their flight scenarios, reusing rockets only within very controlled parameters to prioritize stability over rapid expansion. The result is clear. SpaceX moves fast, creating an image of breakthrough, while Blue Origin moves slowly with far less volatility. Their relationship with NASA also defines them. SpaceX was once seen as the rebellious outsider within the traditional space ecosystem. They challenged old standards and broke traditional processes, eventually forcing NASA to adapt to a new, faster way of working. Blue Origin, conversely, aligns closely with traditional NASA thinking, prioritizing compatibility, safety documentation, and rigorous certification from the start. NASA views SpaceX as an engine of innovation, but they look at Blue Origin as a potential builder of long-term infrastructure. At the helm of these ships are two founders with radically different mindsets, Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos. Elon Musk embodies extreme engineering thinking, accepting high personal risk and always pushing to move faster than traditional safety allows. Jeff Bezos thinks in terms of infrastructure and decades, believing that the future of space requires endurance rather than just speed. One wants to get to Mars as soon as possible. The other wants to build a road that millions can follow. The public perception is shaped by what is visible. We see SpaceX launching constantly, landing spectacularly, and failing publicly. But we do not see the hundreds of smaller failures or the immense pressure placed on their engineers to maintain that pace. Conversely, the public sees Blue Origin as slow and quiet, but they do not see the years of unannounced testing. Hidden from view are the decisions to scrub launches to avoid risk, prioritizing internal certainty over public entertainment. So who is right? The answer is neither. Blue Origin and SpaceX are not opposing paths, but different solutions. They are two distinct answers to the same complex problem. How can humanity live and work beyond the Earth? One side clears the path rapidly. The other builds a solid foundation. Both are required for a permanent civilization. If we only had SpaceX, the risk might be too high. If we only had Blue Origin, progress might be too slow. History shows that every major industry needs both the disruptors who break rules and the stabilizers who ensure consistency. Space is no different. SpaceX pulls humanity forward faster, while Blue Origin ensures that the road we travel does not collapse. The space race is not about who arrives first. It is about who helps humanity stay there the longest. And very likely, our future beyond Earth will be built upon the combination of these two very different philosophies. Innovation requires the courage to fail, but survival requires the discipline to be perfect. We need them both. As we watch these rockets rise, remember that each launch is a testament to human ingenuity in all its forms. Whether through explosive iteration or meticulous planning, the destination remains the same. A multi-planetary future for our children. The cosmos is vast and indifferent. It will take every strategy we have to conquer the final frontier. Today's competition between billionaires is simply the opening chapter of a much larger story written by all of us. From the first humble launches to the massive heavy lifters, the pace of change has been nothing short of breathtaking. And alongside the speed, the quiet accumulation of infrastructure and reliability builds the safety net for our expansion. It is the classic story of the tortoise and the hare, but played out on a galactic scale with billions. Their personal styles influence their companies. One is vocal and instant, the other is reserved and calculated. Inside their vehicles, we see the difference. Starship is a utilitarian cavern designed to move masses efficiently. Blue Origin's capsules offer massive windows and comfort, focusing on the experience and safety of the individual passenger. SpaceX builds the gas stations and trucks of the future. Blue Origin builds the hotels and the highways. SpaceX funds its ambition by dominating low Earth orbit today, using satellites to finance the city on Mars. Blue Origin relies on deep pockets and patient capital, willing to wait decades for their investment to bear fruit. The sheer power of 33 engines screaming together is SpaceX's answer to the tyranny of the rocket equation. The precision of 7 massive, clean-burning engines is Blue Origin's answer to the demand for heavy lift capacity. NASA needs both. They need the redundancy. If one fails, the other must be ready to take the baton. SpaceX will land the first astronauts of this century on the Moon using their massive Starship architecture. Blue Origin provides the sustainable alternative, a lander designed specifically for precision and long-term lunar operations. Bezos wants to save Earth by moving industry into space, turning our planet into a protected residential zone. Musk wants to back up the human biosphere on Mars, ensuring we survive even if Earth faces catastrophe. One focuses on preserving the cradle of humanity. The other focuses on expanding the reach of consciousness. The passion of the workers at both companies is undeniable. They are dedicating their lives to this grand mission. Whether through loud cheers or quiet satisfaction, the result is the advancement of our capabilities beyond the atmosphere. We have moved past the era where space was too expensive and too slow. The old ways are gone. Reusability is now the standard. Anything less is obsolete. Both companies have proven this truth to the world. Imagine a future where working in orbit is as normal as working in another country is today. That future is being forged right now by the competition between the hare's speed and the tortoise's persistence. We must learn to appreciate the explosions. They are the growing pains of a species learning to fly, and we must respect the delays. They are the guarantee that when we go to stay. SpaceX burned cash to learn how to make money. Blue Origin uses money to ensure they never lose the mission. The culture of sleeping on the factory floor drives rapid results, but carries a heavy toll on the human element. The culture of work-life balance at Blue Origin aims to retain talent for the long marathon of space development. Even their materials differ. SpaceX chooses steel for its ease of use. Blue Origin chooses alloys for their lightness. SpaceX builds rockets in tents exposed to the elements. Blue Origin builds in factories that resemble surgical operating rooms. SpaceX proves that a rocket does not need to be pretty to work. It just needs to defy gravity. Blue Origin argues that precision in appearance reflects precision in engineering, and nothing should be left to chance. The economy of the future will be orbital. Whoever controls the transport layer will control the economy of tomorrow. Old giants are fading. The new duopoly of Musk and Bezos is setting the tempo for the entire world. For us, the spectators, it is the greatest show on Earth. A display of fire, science, and human will. They fight in courtrooms as fiercely as they fight in the engineering labs, battling for contracts and dominance. But despite the legal battles, the engineers on the ground share a mutual respect for the difficulty of the task. They know that gravity is the real enemy, not the other company. The challenge of orbit unites them all. Breaking through the clouds requires momentum. Breaking through the atmosphere requires sustained thrust and unwavering guidance. The scars on the launch pads tell the story of the struggle. Every mark is a lesson learned. Behind the fire is math. Billions of calculations per second ensure that the rocket points towards the stars. Automation is key. Both companies are not just building rockets, they are building the machines that build the rockets. But the human element remains. The decision to go or not to go rests with a human mind. Knowing when to stop is as important as knowing when to push. This is the balance of spaceflight. When lives are on board, the equation changes. The tolerance for risk drops to near zero for everyone. Both companies invest heavily in escape systems. They agree that the crew must come home, no matter what. The view from up there is the same for everyone. It does not care which logo is on the side. In the vacuum of space, politics and philosophies fade away. There is only the mission and the crew. Sticking the landing is the hardest part. It requires the perfect synchronization of physics and code. Once down, the work begins again. Inspect, refuel, and fly again. The cycle must be unbroken. The factories never sleep. The race to the stars is a relay race that runs 24 hours a day. We are mapping the landing sites on Mars today. The locations of our future cities are being chosen now. We are designing the orbital reefs where millions will live, work, and raise families in the vacuum. The children watching these launches today will be the ones to actually build and live in these worlds. Musk and Bezos are merely the architects. The inhabitants of the future will define what these structures become. Through storms, delays, and explosions, the trajectory remains upward. The human spirit refuses to be grounded forever. We aim for the moon not because it is easy, but because we have finally built the tools to stay. These machines are the cathedrals of the 21st century, monuments to our desire to transcend our limits. Life is fragile, but it is also persistent. We are taking the seeds of life and scattering them. In the end, it is not Blue versus SpaceX. It is Earth versus the great filter of extinction. As we leave our home planet, we carry the best of our philosophies with us: courage and wisdom. The universe is waiting. It has been waiting for billions of years for us to finally arrive. The first step on Mars will be taken by a human, but powered by the competition of giants. We salute the dreamers, the builders, the risk-takers, and the planners. They are the heroes of this age. The future is not written in the stars. It is written in the code and steel we build today. Thank you for watching Dark Sky Dive. Subscribe for more deep space analysis as we continue our journey to the stars.